Good evening, friends. Hey, howdy, hello, salutations. Hope you all had a great week. Happy Friday to you. Roleplaying Unlimited is back with our Friday evening campaign, Dragonlance, Shadow of the Dragon Queen. And we have most of our party assembled into the voice chat right now. Looks like one more just logged in, so hopefully most of the party intact here tonight. Jumping into our session setup here, as well as... Ah! Yeah, there it is. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good, hello.
How's it going, boss man?
Oh, I don't know. I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. As Kat said earlier, I'm breathing.
Sometimes that's all we got.
Danger.
Yeah.
Grelick said he would be back in a second. He's just pulling pizza out of the oven.
Well, alright.
And it looks like Mr. Clark there is booting up his computer. Yay, I wasn't the only one to forget.
I don't like when people forget our schedule.
I'll be honest, I was sitting there watching a movie with the woman, and I'm like, I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Oh, man.
and then, like, you guys posted, I'm like, ooh.
Don't
Oh, yeah.
underestimate my ability to forget something. I almost forgot that I teach a 1 o'clock class today. So, like...
Good to know education's in your hands there, Kat.
It's college. They can figure it out.
Buddy, college is when they're trying to figure themselves out, let alone anything else.
It's Spanish 2. Half of them shouldn't even be in that level anyway. They should be in, like, Spanish 3 and 4. They'll be fine.
That is...
There we go, a little date stamp for us. So let's go back to last session's frivolities here. Actually, this was the cessation of the frivolities, as our group got into a real bloody combat on the field of play here at the Battle of High Hill. It was supposed to be a reenactment. Turned out that there were some shady mercs working for the Ironclad Regiment. And all of them at this point have been killed, including their half-ogre commander. All of the horses either ran away or were appropriated by members of our party. Otherwise, this is where we find ourselves.
And let's not forget, I almost caught the biggest fish.
Yes, very close. You did have Baragond the Linebreaker.
Very important details.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got that natural 20 just to sight the legendary beast, which in and of itself is considered fantastic luck, but when time came to snatch the great beast out of the water, true to his name, he snapped your line.
I mean, it couldn't have been that great of luck, seeing as we, got ambushed.
Yeah, that's a separate matter altogether. One had nothing to do with the other. So we are approaching from the High Hill direction back into the town of Vogler, perhaps a bit shell-shocked. On our hike back, the mayor, as well as our knight friend who operates Thornwall Keep, known shortly as Becklin, and the dwarf named Cugel in charge of the Ironclad Regiment itself. All three of them just kind of give you heads up along the way that once you get back into town, get cleaned up, and kind of sort yourselves out, join us at the Brass Crab. We have much to discuss.
So we're not just going to talk about the fact that all her people tried to kill us.
I'm going to take my horse to the stables first, treat
its wounds as best that I can, and then make sure that it's well taken care of before I go to the tavern.
Sure, sure. Cujul looks enraged at your words and also hurt at the same time, while Becklin simply states, "We have much to discuss. That is part of it. We will discuss it at the Brass Crab."
As he kind of wipes some blood off of his clothing, he kind of just looks around and goes, "Well, I don't know about you lot, but I could go for a pint for sure."
Oh, shocker, you want a pint.
Thank you, John T. Much appreciated, brother.
Yeah, Hawken looks rather pale, which is interesting considering his complexion isn't pale, and a little bit like just kind of a little bit shell shocked after all that, and he's just kind of shaking his head a little bit, and just stumbles towards the crab.
Alton's gonna kind of catch up to him and almost like give him a nudge, almost to be like, "Okay, like you're with us, right?" And continue walking with him in a manner of support.
Did anyone loot the bodies of those marauders?
I would love to loot those bodies if you're not going to kill me for looting those bodies.
They are unworthy and do not qualify as protected people that you should not loot.
Liana's looting those bodies. Y'all know it.
Are you We're not going to rewind this. We have already made our way back into town, so now that this discussion is taking place in the here and now, are we leaving, splitting up the party to go back to tend to some of these bodies?
I want to say yes, but I know that's going to fuck me over because I know something's going to happen to get me killed on a Friday night too, Daniel.
No, I already separated from the group a little bit to take care of what I was doing and then going back. I'm not going to go back to loot bodies or anything.
I don't know. Bestie Alton, what do you think? Do I go back and loot bodies?
I'm gonna go.
Well, I feel like there's probably something we got to talk about because clearly she didn't know what was going on with her man.
Let's think of what we could get off the bodies.
Later. Nobody's gonna bury those bastards.
Fine.
Is that all you can fucking think about at a time like this? Is how much money you can fucking get? Jesus.
There could be weapons too.
Money buys weapons and
because
beer.
you don't have enough weapons already? What happened to
No,
you?
I'm so glad you understand.
And Morgan will walk briskly away from you towards the crab.
Alton just kind of looks back at Ziliana, just kind of shrugs and gestures as if, like, let's go get a drink, and starts walking behind Hawken.
Ziliana's gonna follow him.
Well, alrighty. After finding available seating inside of the Cramp Tavern, the tavern had been initially prepared for a night of celebration thanks to the Kingfisher Festival, but those plans have quickly been abandoned. Decorations pulled down, etc. Hastily clearing the stage that was set for celebration and placing more chairs and tables in that area. The mayor steps to the front of the bar, and a hush is called for among the murmurs going on in the crowd, after which the mayor speaks up. Some of our trusted villagers who were not wounded in the incident have been instructed to tend to our wounded and recover the bodies of those murdered at High Hill. It would seem first and foremost, what we need to understand is just why the Ironclad Regiment attacked us. Clearly, Kujul was betrayed. But why? Perhaps, just as importantly, we need to know if any other dangerous mercenaries are afoot still waiting to stab us in the back. And with that, she turns the floor over to those in the crowd who wish to speak. Your characters having already gained a couple of levels and some reputation within the town as friends of the recently recently passed Ispis. Some eyes begin to turn in your direction.
I'll stand up. Good people. There was a betrayal today, and that came from the Marauders. Apparently, they knew when the celebration was, which is pretty obvious, and they chose this moment as a moment of their cowardice and their weakness to try to strike when they thought that we were most vulnerable. However, I am proud of the people of this town who stood by and my companions who fought valiantly to defeat these marauders and to show that just and righteousness shall prevail. And then I go back and sit down.
Roll a persuasion check in conjunction with that. Oh dear God.
Cheers, bro.
Fucking
Got a
dice.
great start to the day, man.
Responses coming back from the
I mean, I hopefully it can't get any worse.
Hey, I guess he could have not been trained in persuasion and ended
I
up with
can
a pair
make
of
it worse.
twos there.
No, you sit down, guy. You don't make
Oh
it
my
worse.
gosh. Sometimes the GM has to challenge the party. Other times the party challenges themselves just fine.
So Alton stands up, kind of giving everyone a look of like, I don't know what else to say, but he stands up and he says, well, clearly the orc there, he wasn't a friend of our good friend here, and points towards the leader, and he kind of is stumbling over his words a little bit, and he says, either way, you understand the fact that we're here to help you, and we're gonna be here for a little while longer to ensure that no other treacherous scum show their face, and hopefully they have a little coin as well to pay for our troubles. And he kind of chuckles and takes a swig of beer and sits down.
Our knight Becklin stands. This realm has enjoyed, and I use the term loosely, an extended period of peace, of ease, of full bellies, and perhaps even more filled pouches of coin. Many of you have not seen true conflict in your lives. This is a sobering and troubling fact, especially for those who have. I implore all of you to seek solace, wisdom, and insights from each other, especially in the days ahead. The lives that we have grown accustomed to, I fear we may never return to, or at the very least it will be some time before we enjoy such frivolities again. And she takes a seat. grabs her ale, drains it, and smashes the glass back down onto the table, calling for another one.
At that point, Hawalkin kind of gets a hold of himself, stands up, looks upon the assorted, gathered. Today we were supposed to be coming back to celebrate a victory, a mock victory, but a victory nonetheless. And we were going to celebrate Green Shield and all he had done for us individually and as a community. So tonight we should celebrate the lives that were cut short on this day. Celebrate that they have been returned to the gods and to the ones that went before them. And celebrate that we will bring either justice or vengeance down upon those responsible. He just downs his drink.
Becklin leans over to your group as one of the noted fishermen in town gets up to ramble on about some inane details that will fade into the backdrop as Becklin's much more important speech takes center stage. As she leans into each of you, we've captured one of them. We have him restrained nearby. The mayor has asked me to in turn ask you if you would be so kind as to handle the interrogations. She has made it clear that she will be present and that the mercenary is not to be killed in these interrogations. We are still civil after all.
Does that include torture?
It never includes torture.
No, you hush now. I wasn't talking to you.
She nods in response to what the Solamnic Knight says and is perhaps a bit shocked at what your suggestion is.
Never mind, I won't do the interrogation then. Somebody give me a pint.
I believe I can get him to talk.
I shall join in as well.
Just out of recollection, during the recent conflict, did any of your characters demonstrate publicly any healing magic?
I have not.
Nada.
Nope.
Nope.
No, it didn't come up.
All right.
Although, with that being said, we do have some people who are hurt, right?
In our own party?
Yeah, I just kidding. I don't have health bars in front of me, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a little injured.
Well, let's zip back over to here, and we can have a look-see at that. Yeah, Reginald is a little jacked up here. Pretty sure Logan also took a strike or two.
Yeah, I should
fine.
be
Well,
up to
I know we
31.
leveled up, so I think it may have healed everybody.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That is okay.
Because I also remember Ziliana being the target of a few attacks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
adjusted
had
my-
like 2 HP left, and then we leveled up. So like, God bless.
Gotcha. Just
Yeah, I
a
adjusted mine per whatever damage I took from before.
heads up refresher here for everyone. When you level up, the Roll20 character sheet has no distinction between level up and long rest. So we did level up, we did not long rest. This is why I always try to preface to track your current status and health values when you level up, so that, for example, say your character is at 2 of 20 HP and you gain 10 HP as part of your level up, you are now at 12 of 30 HP. You are not at 30 of 30 HP, if the rambling math makes sense there. If we do not have accurate track of what we should be at, a best guess will suffice, but in general, these are things that we want to keep track of.
Are there any injured, like townsfolk, like really badly injured townsfolk that I can see from here?
There are wounded townsfolk, yeah. A number of them were caught in the fracas. There are at least 4 of them who are in dire states of missing HP. And just as a bit of flavor backdrop, I'm not positive how common we may be without our druid in the party going forward, but for tonight anyway, I'm just going to add a slight bit of character to her in that large crowds and situations like this tend to make her uncomfortable, so she tends to retreat into a wild shape form and will usually make her way back to the party when she is ready. This is not an uncommon occurrence, so her absence should not be cause for alarm.
Okay, so I will, while we're sitting here, as we've been talking, and I get a lay of like who is really fucked up. I think that probably includes Zilliana at this point. I'm going to, in here in the tavern, use healing word. I can do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to heal 5 people, basically. Just to make sure nobody is going to be, passing on because of lack of healing.
Well, that definitely earns some gasps and awes from those assembled. As a refresher on this campaign setting, ever since the Cataclysm, I believe it was 480-ish years ago. I could be wrong. It might be 180, but I feel like 480 is for whatever reason locked in my mind, and it's not 420, so we know it's not for another reason.
I think it's like 350 something.
Oh, well, I don't know where the fuck I got 480 from, but it's a long time. Longer than any of your characters have been alive, suffice it to say. Once the Cataclysm occurred, and just a brief recap on just what that is. Oh, come on. This right here used to be solid land until a meteor sent from the gods themselves. The story goes that humanity and other mortal races grew too powerful, too confident, too cocky, and challenged the gods themselves in a display of power, and the hurtled meteor from the stars that crashed into this land mass here, creating the Blood Sea of Istar, was the result. And ever since then, the deities have essentially turned their backs on mortal kind here on the world of Kryn, on the continent of Ensalon. So the display of anybody who possesses healing magic, which is almost unheard of. There are ways in 5e and systems beyond 2e for other classes to have it, but in the original lore, the only characters that ever had access to healing, as I recall, were clerics and druids. So it was very rare, but nowadays, like, bards could even have it, possibly even wizards, depending on what subclass you take. Calling upon a deity to heal people's wounds and save them from certain death absolutely is an astonishing miracle in and of itself, even as a low-level spell.
Well, I'm not calling on a deity. This is a bard spell, so it's just a word of power in my case.
Amend what I said accordingly.
I'll roll what you get back, Katie, and then, well, I know Don has is now a paladin of a god, so he could probably do himself.
I would think so.
I mean, I would do it in private because I don't want to alarm everybody with these abilities. I do have a pretty okay wisdom.
So that's what I would have healed on Katie, just in case we don't get any kind of rest before something else happens.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, either I forgot to conceal it, or I just didn't care anymore at this point.
Sure. Yeah,
I mean,
bardic
you seemed
magic is...
pretty. You seemed pretty thrown off by everything that happened, so I wouldn't be surprised if you were just like, nah, I'm not letting anyone else die.
Like, weirder shit just happens.
Yeah. It's like one of those moments where you're at a reenactment and the flintlock rifle actually does kill people.
Oh. Well, drinks are passed. Everybody gets a hot meal with the fish pastries and a delicious stew. Otherwise, whenever we are ready to proceed from here, we can go to join the mercenary, the captive mercenary, as it were.
I'd like to watch that.
They said no torture, though. What are we watching at that point?
They might tickle him.
Not the same.
Would you rather stay here and drink then?
We could go loot bodies.
I've had my fill of bodies for the day, to be honest.
You're no fun anymore.
It's what happens when you get old. You just kind of settle down.
Okay,
The
so
man sails in.
we're gonna head. I'm gonna head off with the mercen to check out the mercenary.
Yep.
Alrighty. How about our Kender? Haven't heard anything from John all session. Is his mic working?
Can you hear me?
Hey, hello.
Oh, I'd been talking. This is awkward.
It's very awkward.
Did we not hear you, or were we just ignoring you?
I don't recall
dun,
hearing him
dun.
pipe up so far this session.
Yeah, earlier I said I wanted to go see the bodies, but then we just went to the pub, so I was like, whatever.
Oh, is that when I asked, are we splitting the party?
Yeah, but I guess you guys didn't hear me, so, I mean, that explains it.
For sure.
But what's the question right now?
What are we doing in particular? Looks like we have another party split happening here between those going to interrogate our captive mercenary and those who want to stay here at the pub.
Yeah, I'll just stay at the pub.
Alton will actually stand up and kind of place a hand on the two of them, both on Esther and Ziliana, and just be like, all right, let's go. We got to figure out what's going on.
Why are you so hung up on seeing this?
Listen, things might get out of hand, and I might actually be able to torture him. Do you want me to miss out on torturing somebody? Just move your arse.
No.
At the same time, I look back at Esther and I just kind of go, are you going to fight me on this one too, there, wee man?
No.
Good. Let's go.
All right. At an undisclosed location somewhere over in this section of town, your characters are led by Becklin, Cugel, and Mayor Raven herself, to where one final Wade Wilson remains, this one captive, bonded, and looking perhaps a bit too much like he enjoys it.
I knew that was coming.
Mood though.
And as your group descends the stairs and he takes stock of those who have come to speak with him, we'll do one final white one here as he exclaims, "Knights of Solamnia! I should have worn the white pants."
Nice.
Otherwise, he leans back and gives you all a sneer. The mayor confirms her instructions that no one is to harm the captive. We don't know just how close to death he may be, and we don't know just how long we may need him alive for. So definitely interrogate him as you will. Coercive magic, no objections that she can think of. So long as, again, you do not harm the captive. And with that in mind, Cugel just leans right in, and she's going to take charge of this interrogation. So yeah, you got to be peeking behind the GM screen there to see the results of that amazing check from Cugel, but she just got a 4. A mighty 4 on her charisma check here to intimidate. "Tell me what you know! Why did my men betray me? What happened? What happened with the half..." And she just starts spitting and sputtering and kind of grabs hold of her chest almost like she has worked herself up into a frenzy a bit too quickly. And huffing and puffing, she wisely backs off and will likely leave the rest of the interrogation to the group after that result.
Alton just positions himself in the corner to kind of give off the bad cop vibe.
All right.
I don't know who he's gonna be thinking is more bad cop, you or the elf standing there looking at him like she wants to tear his eyes out with her fingernails.
We're trying to
You gonna let me?
discuss how to do this. Whether it's 1,000 cuts or pulling fingernails, we haven't decided.
So I will kind of lead Pujol away. It's okay. And I'll kind of circle around the guy once, and then kind of just stand behind him.
Ooh, real Perry
Lean
Mason
down.
thing you got going on here.
And lean down from behind and start whispering in his ear. While I'm doing so, I'm going to cast Minor Illusion.
Oh, I love when they whisper sweet nothings.
To show him, basically show the results of their betrayal. All of his cohorts have been cut down. Show him each guy that he knew that died because of their plan. So that minor illusion is just kind of playing for him as I'm speaking to him about how, it doesn't matter how much you were paid or who paid you, you're a failure. You'll always be a failure. You might as well start having some success and tell us everything we want to know. Because this way, at least you can have some success, because right now you're just another failure.
Ooh, and on this week's episode of Law & Order, prosecutors believe that Wade Wilson had much to do with the affair, but they couldn't prove a damn thing. Try your intimidation or persuasion, whichever avenue you're going with here. And is there a save versus the illusion? I don't think so, unless they interact with it, right?
Yeah, essentially, that it basically says unless they interact with it, they're
Sure.
just...
Yeah, he's bound by a fisherman's net that is covering his entire torso, so his arms are basically just kind of pinned to his chest. So unless he's gonna try to headbutt the illusion. advantage on that. There is noticeable shivers and sweat coming from the captive mercenary after you conclude your interrogation. Okay. There is a lot to the story that I do not know. So, you're just going to have to take that coming into this. But what I do know, I will tell you, okay? Honestly, the half-ogre probably would have been the one to take alive. No offense at your strategy or anything like that, but he's the one. Dragonlance, I think his name was. He was the one that orchestrated this betrayal. He planned to kill, and he just kind of glances over at Cugel, who's steaming in the corner, and in response to that, she stomps a foot on the floor. Lies! Damn you! Dragonlance was a fight! Magical sorcery dominated! And she blunders off again. After Cugel was dead, and the reenactment a success, Dragonlance said that he was going to be the new leader of the Ironclad. I don't know who his contact was, but there's a mercenary camp set up just outside of town that you guys saw. There's some woods to the west of that location where Dragonlance went to. I assume he met somebody out there. Maybe 5-6 days ago. And when he came back, he had a chest of gold with him that was used to pay off our, well, you know. Again, earning a grunt of protest from Cugel. Dragonlance, he used the money, as you can assume, to hire the most loyal amongst the group that he could find to attack the militia during the reenactment. Now, the plan, which of course this all went to shit, was to raid the town after the reenactment. But, well, yeah. There's still a handful of mercenaries back at the camp, including Jaev. And Cugel kind of perks up at that, almost like this is information she's been waiting for. He's the other ironclad lieutenant, and to my knowledge, as best I know, he's still completely loyal. He was not paid to take part in the reenactment, nor was he present at any of the gatherings that those of us who did partake in the reenactment were part of. And he just kind of looks over at all of you as if that's all I got.
I look over at them, at Cugel, and are you satisfied with his responses?
Sufficiently. There is still much that I will find out for myself, but yes, this does answer a few questions that I had.
If you need anyone to accompany you to the mercenary camp, I will lend my halberd to your cause.
Something tells me the people here in this town will need you more than I.
Very well.
Kind of struggling. I'm not sure if he's got any more to tell us or not.
Yeah, based off of that, everything seems to be reasonably true, in line with what your gut is telling you. As far as whether he's leaving anything out, that is an unknown.
Can I roll an insight from where I am just to see if maybe I caught some kind of a smirk or something to see if maybe he's being dishonest about some things, leading us into a trap perhaps?
Sure. Insight check as well.
Wow, we really are doing good, guys.
I'll also try my hand at an insight just to see if someone can roll above a fucking
See if
2
someone
tonight.
can actually pull something off. Jesus.
Oh man. DC goes up by 5 with each roll. Womp womp. Big money, big money, big money. Pretty decent. Well, after our mercenary, who identifies himself as one Svilt Sunderleet, is apparently telling the truth, and as best all of you can tell collectively as you guys kind of look at each other, there's, of course, there's things he's not telling you, but anything pertinent to what you need to know, you don't think there's anything being left out.
So, are we gonna slit his throat, or what are we doing with him?
We're going to leave it up to the justice system to take care of that.
Yes, as stated, the mayor interrupts. We will keep him captive until such a time as I deem we no longer have need of him.
Do I get to keep him company?
No.
Oh, that's not fun. He looks lonely. I could stay here with him. We could be right good friends.
Mayor
With
shakes
that,
her
Alton-
head in exasperation.
Alton just stares at the bandit and mercenary with a evil, menacing grin on his face. All right, well, I'll be thinking about you. I might come visit sometime. And he makes his way out the door.
Alrighty.
So, Lord Mayor, are you expecting another attack to the town?
Would you?
If so, I would expect it to come from the mercenary group themselves, which, if we are heading in that direction, we'd be able to head them off before they headed to town.
If you're getting something, somebody paid them to do that. Somebody with a lot of money. They may have more than just money out there on their side.
I would be most eager to learn more about this supposed meeting in the woods west of town. I am reluctant for anyone to leave the village at this time, though. We don't know if or when or what direction anyone may come from with any further assault. I am going to send out some of our local hunters in the morning to investigate this rumor. Perhaps under daylight there will be more favorable odds in our direction.
Yeah, a good night's rest will help everyone's focus as well.
I agree.
Roll some insight checks amongst our group. Everybody can roll that if you wish. Wow.
We do good.
Alrighty. Well, this is kind of a collective group insight as opposed to individual. So play this in response as you will. But not only is your group bound to be more experienced and more capable than a simple group of local hunters, but if things are as dire as they would appear to be just based off of the bloodshed today, every minute may count. So as much as a long night's rest, womp womp womp, sounds like a fantastic plan, and as much as the mayor doesn't want people to leave town right now, perhaps an investigation during the wee hours may be beneficial.
And here I was looking forward to my feather down pillow.
Don always wants his rest.
Darn tootin', I want my rest.
We were looking for a reason to stop some people. Let's get it done.
We all just kind of look at each other with that look of like, fuck.
Yep. That moment of realization of like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, if we give them time to regroup and set up, it may be hazardous to those hunters going out.
Yeah, we're gonna. If there is anybody to sneak up on, it's better to do it at night.
All right. So
how many horses do we have? We have 2?
We do own 2 that we took from the mercenaries. There are a few others in town. All of them are owned, but if you want to try to get your hands on those, there are potential paths to do so.
Well, I'm just trying to come up with a strategic idea on approaching the camp.
Sure. And technically, I guess right now we only have the one that Dawn took, because the one that Nal has is with her in Druid
Somewhere.
Land.
Yeah. So
Druid Land.
And our lovely knight here has a halberd, so he'd be better off on horseback. Plus, he's already a Solomnian knight, which means he has... Okay.
Yeah, I have like horseman abilities, even though I'm glad that animal handling is not a requirement for that kind of stuff.
Oh, roll animal handling.
No, animal handling is required.
Oh.
I looked it up. I did a lot of research on this, man. No,
Well, yeah, you don't
handling
need it.
required.
You don't need it for the stuff you do in combat, but outside of combat, when you're just trying to make friends with the guy.
That's what spurs are for.
Because here's the other thing too, is that if animal handling was an issue for horses and stuff, it would be a class skill for paladins, and it's not.
Quite possibly.
Well, most paladins just cast a spell and get a magical steed that just loves them anyway.
That's that's a
that'd
certain
be next level,
right.
So I have a theory for approaching the camp if the rest of the party would like to hear it.
I, for one, say no.
Ooh. When God just gives you that immediate answer to your prayer, and it's no.
That's when all the middle fingers fly up. You're not in the party, DM.
All right, what is your plan?
So I was thinking if we have Sir Reginald hold back on the horse, he can be our QRF, so to speak, and we have Hawakan go in as the quote-unquote wandering druid who has happened upon the encampment seeking assistance or aid, and then myself and the other 2 are kind of in the shadows watching to assist if need be, and then that way it's not coming in pointing fingers.
Wait, are you talking about the mercenary encampment?
Yeah.
We're not going to investigate that. We're going to investigate where this guy was meeting.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kujul's going to deal with mercenary camp.
All right, well, I mean, in that case, this kind of works the same for the secret meeting.
Yeah, your initial path will go the same way as though you're going to the mercenary camp, but about 10 minutes up the road, instead of making a branch off to the east to the mercenary camp, you're going to make a branch to the west.
Yeah, so we just need to go find clues, maybe see if there's any tracks to follow, and go from there.
As far as the horse, though, that does kind of address a question I had as far as how is our group approaching this? Are we trying to be stealthy? Are we trying to approach this in 2 waves? Like, wave 1 can be stealthy, and if shit hits the fan, then we call the guy on horseback who has better speed to catch up. Are
Well,
we
that
just
was
all
kind of
going as one
We're
group?
gonna do that.
Etc.
We're gonna do that because I have no stealth whatsoever.
Cluck, 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 cluck.
Yeah, I've got like no dexterity and disadvantage on all stealth checks because of my armor.
Oh my.
Ooh.
So yeah, so there's no way. So I'm gonna use the horse for extra speed. So I will
Fantastic.
hang back, and if I see flames just being shot at each other, that'll be kind of a cue for me to get
Turn
in
back
here.
to town and tell everybody the party's dead. We need to evacuate. All hope is lost.
No, that's my other character. That's
I mean, hopefully it's not just flames shooting up that will call you to us.
well,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
kinda.
I was
Lightning
gonna say
damage is okay.
we could theoretically state that if we have like Hoakin and Esther go in first as like a exploring pair or whatever, I could be the one to fire off an Eldritch Blast into the sky if things go sour to bring in the cavalry. Otherwise, myself and Ziliana could be stealthy in the brush kind of thing.
Cavalry of 1.
Well,
Sometimes it's all you need.
You're kind of the tank, so
Yeah, I also have a lance too, so that's kind of cool from horseback.
see.
It's
You're
almost
meant
like
to
he's
be.
preparing for something later in the campaign.
Like
I
a
think-
dragon lance. Ooh.
So I think what we should do is, so Reginald will hang back like we said on the horse. The rest of us, if we're confident in our ability to sneak, should sneak up to the area because we don't know, there may be hostiles there. There may not be. If there appears to not be anybody there, we can just kind of start investigating the area and see what clues we can find. If there are people there, observe them, kind of get a feel for what's going on, and see if it's somebody we should be approaching or not, and kind of go from there. That's what I think.
I'm down for that. Does anyone have like a sending spell or anything that we can, like sending stones or anything like that we can give to Reginald, or should we stick with the Eldritch Blast into the sky?
I will use my best judgment to write in if I hear commotion or anything like that, or if you do decide to make the signal a little bit more overt. I will be there.
Oh, message spell. Message!
There we go. That works.
Yeah, bear in mind also this is Dragonlance. There's like 4 magic items in the entire world.
And all of them are dragon lances.
And the other one's a bag of holding. There's 1 bag of holding in the entire realm.
And there's also the Orb of Dragonkind in Sylvanessa.
Yeah, there's a few of those.
That
Well, and
moment when you
also-
know your lore.
There was also the cleric staff, or Raceland had a staff.
Oh,
I
sure,
think.
but now we're getting it. Yeah, the Staff of Fist and Dentalus, but now we're getting
Everybody
into,
took you too seriously on that one, Danny.
we're getting very much
Right,
into
I was like,
artifacts now at this point.
Is Don going to go try and get Raceland's staff? Go ahead. Good luck.
Even Shags in the chat there is going off about a couple of them.
Nice. Yeah, as far as magic items available to the party, I suppose I should say, because if you read the original series, Raceland definitely had a few magic items, but he was arguably an NPC, or at least a PC with the GM in their ear throughout the entire campaign. And
Hey,
then
look over here.
Tannis got himself a magical sword. Everybody else was like, I got a rock. Even Sturm was like, I have plate mail. That's pretty cool.
So we'll go with that plan then. The four of us kind of sneaky, and hope for the best.
Well, if that's the plan, let's begin with perception checks instead of stealth. We will save our stealth for a few moments from now.
I would before we head out, I'd ask. So who is less confident about their ability to stealth?
I'm fairly confident in my capabilities.
What about you, Esther?
As long as I stay away, I'm good for damage.
That wasn't what I asked.
Imagine that it went over the little man's head.
You think you're pretty sneaky? Do you think you can sneak in there with us?
As long as I stay away, I can do damage. I'm not sneaky.
So, maybe you should ride on the horse with Sir Reginald. You're small enough; it should be fine.
You can carry me in his backpack.
Yeah, that works. All right,
Yeah,
for
I'm
the rest
not
of us-
carrying you in a backpack.
So I will give Bardic Inspiration to myself and Ziliana and Atlan.
Ooh. This song is just 6 words long. Song is just 6 words long.
So
Nice.
you'll have you can add a D6 to a roll within the time frame there.
All right, so Danny, you said perceptions?
Yes, indeed.
Nice.
Let's get perception from everyone. Ooh, very nice start. So Katie is queen of the non-combat good dice rolls, apparently.
At this point, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got skills out the ass. I
Yeah.
just can't fight.
Yeah, once we get into combat and you need to roll the dice where you have like +7 modifiers, that's when the natural ones come out. But when you have a +3, you get dirty 20s all the live long day.
It's okay. Ziliana can hide behind me.
Well, Ziliana and Alton, as well as everybody really, except for Hawakan here in the late night gloom. By the time we are rolling out, it is sometime between the 9 and 10 p.m. hour, so it is very, very dark out here. Not a whole lot of moonlight. Of course, we have some dark vision amongst our group. But 4 out of 5 of you spot a lone figure on the same trail as you, marching in the same direction as you, maybe about 150, 200 feet up ahead. And those of you who made the perception check very well, all of you except for Sir Reginald, you're pretty confident that that's a dwarf marching up along the trail up there ahead of you.
And you said they're heading in the same direction as us, not towards us, but like the same
Correct.
direction we're going.
Correct.
Okay. And oh wow, my brain blanked. The dwarf that was in the lead of the Iron mercenaries, did she leave before us or after us?
None of you saw exactly when she left, but it definitely seemed like that was her intent.
Son of a biscuit.
And there's no other destinations that somebody on this path could be walking the same way as you without having come from Vogler. Unless just somebody lives out in the random woods or some shit like that and they're just out for their 10 p.m. walk.
I continue walking because I have not seen them.
Is everyone seeing what I'm seeing?
It looks like it might be the dwarf.
I'm gonna fall back at this point and let you guys have an opportunity to keep that person in sight, and hopefully they won't see me back here.
Well, it's at this point that if we want to go into stealth mode, in most cases, that's going to reduce our speed by half. And this dwarf is under no such compunctions. They are just walking straight ahead, not caring if they are making noise.
Do they have they noticed us? Do we notice that they noticed us? That kind of thing.
They haven't stopped or turned around. They're still marching straight on ahead.
Have we come to the fork in the road yet?
Not quite yet. You're guessing it's a little harder to tell in the dark, but you would guess you're still about 15 minutes out from that.
So Alton's gonna look back at the rest of the group and just kind of like put his finger to his mouth to be like shh, and he's going to continue walking normally, but like in an attempt to avoid stepping on sticks and things like that. I wouldn't really say like actually like stealthing, but at this point, like he's just assuming this is probably actually the leader of the Iron Mercenaries, and that she's going to be going the opposite direction at the fork.
Gotcha.
Well, kind of looks at you like, what the fuck? And you're like, shh. And I'm like, huh?
Why? I know that you're not paying as much attention these days, but there's somebody up ahead.
I look at him like, huh?
Just for once, be quiet.
Are we? I do lower my voice, but I'm like, are we attempting to follow them, or do we want to intercept them?
It depends on which way they go.
Depends how much fun you want to have.
No, we're gonna get plenty of killing in. Just you wait.
So we're just going to stay put and observe the dwarf as they continue to move away?
I think more so like maintaining our distance from them, but continuing traveling. Because once we get to the fork, we know we're going the one direction to where the quote-unquote meeting point is, and that if this is theoretically who we think it is, they're going the opposite direction. If they don't go the opposite direction, then I would definitely highly suggest we go stealth.
Gotcha. Well, alrighty. Without having gone stealth then, it's only about another 5 minutes up the road before the figure ahead of you comes to a dead stop, bolts off to the side of the road, out of line of sight, and let's get a second round of perception checks here.
You jinxed me, Daniel. Thank you so much.
Oh, damn. Yep, all of a sudden, nobody can see where
Wow.
the dwarf went. No sign whatsoever.
Well, that that complicates things, huh?
Danny boy, I got a quick question for you. For the vanilla inspiration with the cards, that means that we're only using the standard inspiration, right? We can't use the heroic inspiration?
Correct.
Okay. That's a shame. If I had thought of that ahead of time. That's such a shame.
Yarg.
You know what? I'm going to use my bardic inspiration in an attempt to keep an eye on this person.
Okay. May the force be with you.
Well, it's a D6 that you got now, right?
Yeah, it's not a D8 yet.
Oh,
Wow,
son
that
of a
was so
bitch.
helpful.
You needed a 3.
So helpful.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and roll mine too, just because I have one of the better rolls.
Sure. Yeah, in your case, you need a 2. There we go. I was about to. We're gonna
Why
get some
couldn't
shit
I
hero
have
points here
gotten
again.
that?
So the person who did not see the dwarf at all when they were standing out in the middle of the road, plain as day, is now the only one that can see the dwarf. Just around the side of a thick tree trunk, there is a large bulge that is unmistakably the face of this dwarf, keeping all of you in line of sight as if, who the hell are those people?
I'll put a minor illusion kind of in a position that the rest of my group can see the illusion pointing at this person.
Aw.
Like a little monkey in the tree going,
Damn. I was really hoping you would do the sound of a whisper so that the dwarf would hear, turn around, turn around.
want some candy?
Turn around, turn around. Well, if that's the case, everybody can see the illusion, right?
Yeah, it's an image.
Use your illusion, volume 1. Okay, well, all of you have a straight line of sight to where missing the illusion is not possible. The person who, meanwhile, has an arrow pointing above their head has no idea that this even exists. Or they're totally cool with it. One or the other.
Without making it completely obvious, I just prepare an Eldritch Blast just in case. I don't actually do anything, I just mentally prepare it.
So at that point, I'll just kind of wave at them and beckon them forward.
A voice calls out in common, "Who goes there?" And all of you recognize unmistakably the voice of Cugel.
I would think to be very recognizable group, Kujal.
I say again, who goes there? What is this, a Serac trying to get information from our party when they're willingly giving it over?
No, not again.
Oh boy.
Gujal, I'd assume that you'd understand who we were. We're not really your average band of people.
You hear some grunting and groaning up ahead. I know a lot of people. Please just say who you are.
It's Hawakan and friends.
Yeah, Sir Reginald here.
As Reginald slowly catches up with the rest of the group, him on horseback is seemingly the most obvious giveaway in the group as she gives a heave of relief. What are you doing out here so late at night? And she steps out from cover and begins to move closer, lowering her voice as she shortens the distance.
We could say the same about you.
I told you all I was going back to the mercenary camp.
Now we're going to investigate that meeting spot. So good luck with your mercenaries.
Oh, that makes sense. I see. I'm a little out of my wits right now. It's good that you're all keeping on top of things.
Hopefully you have enough wit to deal with any problems at your camp.
If... Yes, of course.
Well then, we'll accompany you to the crossroads at least.
Thank you. All right. She gives a nod, gives each of you a little fist bump, handshake. It'll be good to have some company here for a while. And the distance between this location and the fork in the road is without incident, and it's at that point that she makes to break off to the east, heading up into the forested hills where the mercenary camp is, and beyond that, the high hill battle where the bloodshed occurred earlier today. And off to the west, your path leads down more of even terrain, but it is heavily forested. After maybe half a mile or so, you can make out in the dim moonlight. Kyujo gives each of you another salute, and she heads up in that direction.
We continue on our way.
Excellent, Smithers. And your
That's
journey...
never concerning.
Release the hounds. Your group finds your path another 50, 60 minutes or so west, before you find a wooded area that has a clearing that just gives you a meeting spot kind of vibe around it. And looking around, just a passive survival check for tracking, you can make out, yeah, there were definitely people here. Recently, there are a lot of tracks that are not natural, and there's also some discarded ration packaging.
But there's nobody in the actual clearing itself.
Roll perception.
Wow.
There goes Katie with the amazing rolls again.
And now you said it again, so
I
I'm
was
about
gonna
to
say,
get fucked by
stop
it again.
saying that.
First you kill me on Monday night, now I think you might be trying to kill me tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Of course there's people in the clearing. There's 3 of them. One of them is a portly bald fellow. The other is a balding, curly-haired skinny man. And the other has a mop top, and he is their leader. His name is Mo. Just kidding, there's no Three Stooges here. The clearing would appear to be vacant of any form of life whatsoever. There might be a couple owls sleeping up in the trees. Otherwise, all is quiet here. If we wish to find out more, survival is the way to go.
Can I actually position myself up a tree somewhere where I have a clear view of the entire group?
Sounds reasonable.
If the druid's not here.
Well, that's why I'm up a tree.
I mean, the person who could just, like, if they went tracking gun, turn into a wolf and go track it.
Well, valid. Would I be able to do a survival check from the tree?
You can. Oh,
Wow.
natural 20 on the wrong side of the die.
And of course, the roll for Ziliana is terrible after what you said, Dan.
Dude, this is just my real life survival stats. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
As Katie observes a larger-than-life boulder and turns to the group, tree.
To be fair, you can climb a boulder too.
That's true.
Now I'm excited to see if Esther, with the Kender ways, just kind of find the right thing to.
That's a nice boulder. I like that boulder.
That's a nice boulder.
Looks like we did not get a survival check there from Esther, by the way. A mighty 10. 7, 6, 11, 6, 10. Man. Well, okie dokie.
We do good.
It's not our finest work, and unfortunately, our forensic knowledge seems to just vacate our brains during this process, as in the efforts of searching for tracks, we step on some of them as well and disturb that which was already here. So it takes a little longer, but after hour, 90 minutes or so, what we are confident of as a group, there are strange tracks aplenty here. Some of them are boot prints, one of which is very large and would seem to match up with half-ogre-sized boots. Others are clawed reptilian feet that do not match any identification any of you are familiar with. This does bring to mind recollection of a mysterious encounter that some of you previously had. These clawed reptilian tracks wind north through the woods out of this location.
That makes me very uncomfortable. So I'm gonna actually come down out of the tree now, and I'm gonna walk over to. Shit, who was it that was with me in the beginning there?
Oh, sorry, Pablo.
I think it was just Ziliana, wasn't it? Oh, and it was also the druid, I think.
Yeah. So I walk over to Ziliana and I kind of nudge her and I go, "Hey, do those look familiar to you?"
Unfortunately.
Ziliana says, "What? The boulder trees?"
A lovely boulder. What are you talking about? Lovely
It's a
boulder.
nice boulder. So Alton looks to the rest of the party and he kind of like gestures with a wave and points towards the tracks. And myself and Ziliana took these on not too long ago. I feel like we should probably follow them.
So you think that these lizard people, as you were talking about, could be in cahoots with the ogre, the half ogre?
Well, it sounds like the half ogre got bought off, right? Well, when Ziliana and I fought them, they took on some of your kin, the knights there. I wouldn't be surprised if they had some of the belongings, used the money from that to pay them off.
I remember coming upon you guys after your fight. Yeah.
It was not easy. They are strong.
All right, let's follow those tracks and see if we can cut down that group of lizards.
Let's be cautious, though.
Cut them down. Well, okie dokie. It's well after midnight at this point as we are following the tracks, approaching the 1 a.m. hour. By the time...
It's a trap!
Yeah! By the time we follow these tracks into some rugged hills out of the woods, and ascending a taller hill we can see in the valley beyond, the woods give way to a ledge overlooking a shallow valley, not a shadow valley. It is shadowy though. In the distance, dozens of low fires illuminate hundreds of red tents. Among them move patrols of shadowy, human-like figures. Over 1,000 soldiers occupy the camp, a whole army.
Well, that's not good. I guess those guys are fucked.
We need to get back and warn the city.
That'll take time. What about Mr. Reginald? Giddy up, big man.
Doesn't look like they're on the march. But what army is this? Who are these people? Do we see any, like, flags or anything?
Let's see here. Nothing identified in that respect. There are no flags flying.
Is there anything that my character would recognize from his history?
Nothing directly, but you do have very much of a an affinity with this. Like, this does ring true to you, so to speak.
I've got a bad feeling about this. I really don't think we should be sticking around very long.
Oh, you don't say.
Liliana, you'd see this look of fear on his face that you only recognize from the times when you've heard him on his drunken rants of his past.
Yeah, you know what? I think, yeah, we shouldn't.
Yeah, there's bravery and there's foolhardiness, and going up against a possibly 1,000 people is definitely foolhardy.
As much as I like making very stupid and questionable choices if they'll end in bloodshed, even I'm not gonna go for this one.
Alton actually looks to the sky very warily, looks around, and then just kind of shivers a little bit, and he looks to the rest of the party and he goes, "Right, let's get going back to the town then." And he starts walking before anyone answers him.
And Ziliana's gonna immediately follow with him. Like, no questions asked at all.
Well, it's at this... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Hawakan kind of lingers a bit because I'm just like taking stock, memorizing what I see, to get most accurate accounting that I can before I leave.
Very cool. Well, it is at this point that our group must resign themselves to... it's going to be extremely late, like at least 3 a.m. by the time we arrive back to Vogler, so a long rest, given what we see outside of the town, is likely out of the question.
At this point, Alton's just trying to get back to town to ring some kind of town bell, and then he's leaving. Like, he's gonna tell them that, like, you gotta go, and then he's going.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when we get back to town, if hopefully either the mayor or the knight are up.
At the Brass Crab, there are lights still lit outside, indicating that the establishment is open all night. And from outside through the windows, you can see that the mayor is burning the midnight oil, and she's up as well, conferring with different members of the community in the common room.
Alton actually turns to Reginald, walks over to him while he's still mounted, and puts a hand on his knee, and he looks at him, and with the most sincere look that he's ever given, just says, "You need to go tell the mercenaries what's going on."
I'm sorry, who are you telling this to?
Reginald.
Gotcha.
Oh.
I thought it was Justin or Don. I was like, it's not me. But in either case, I'm going to let you guys continue to RP here and decide how we want to approach the mayor with this news, and we will take our 10-minute BRB screen during that process, so we'll see you on the other side. Are you with us?
I'm gonna run away real quick. I'll be right back, guys.
Ditto.
All right, who's ready to die? Are you there, Esther?
Yes.
I'll give you a quick little recap because your character would have been with us at the time. Pretty much, we found the meeting place, found tracks that myself and Ziliana recognized, followed said tracks, and then found a encampment of thousands of soldiers. And my character had PTSD flashbacks, told everyone that, like, we gotta go, and we've been heading back towards town. We're, like, entering back into town.
Okay, cool.
Large red tents, dozens of fires, thousands of soldiers. No bueno.
You didn't think we could take him?
No. Seeing that there's a few of us that still are damaged. If we had full health, we could totally do it, man.
I mean, I'm at full health.
Listen, I'm not. My character's stupid and always tries to fight on the front lines because that's what he was trained to do.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm pretty much only sticking at 60 feet.
I kind of figured you were going to be a primarily support character, to be honest, because, like, I mean, that's kind of how you're built. Then there's
that
my
seems to-
guy that's just, like, front lines combat. I feel like the only way that we're really gonna, or at least the way that I plan on telling the mayor, is gonna literally be Alton kicking down the door, being like, "You gotta go, or you're gonna die."
Which is why I will be the one telling them.
Oh, hello, Halak. I mean, I wouldn't put it past your character to recognize that, like, yo, this dude is not having a good time. I should probably step in here.
Yeah. Also, I know that you're not exactly the most. You're very blunt. when it
Words
comes
are
to-
hard.
So I'm like, when the talking has to happen, I can handle that.
It's probably for the best. I feel like you're a fairly well-versed person, and yeah, I mean, you studied the sound of words in order to create magic, right? So
Essentially.
then there's my character that's like, yeah, no, I stab things and I ride horses. I do good. Closest thing to a barbarian without being a barbarian.
And you're like, and there's this guy over there that said he'll let me shoot things with magic. I just have to do stuff for him.
Yeah. He just neglected to tell me what stuff, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It can only be good things, right?
All right, I'm back.
Hello.
So are you planning to take the horse and go talk to the mercenaries then?
Yeah, are you gonna listen to my plead for help when my character never actually does that?
Yeah, I'll help.
He's got a point. You got the horse. You can quickly go over there and say, yell at Kujal something, and then ride back. That's really all you really need to do.
I mean, hopefully at this point she's not being stabbed by a million knives and like when like Jon Snow style moment where it's like, for the north.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'll ride up that way.
And then Kowalkin's gonna have to try and grab me before I kick in the mayor's door.
I'm still on the horse though, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
If you-
So bad.
If you want to be.
Man, we're doing so well at keeping the party together.
Well, then you're gonna just like leave apparently.
Listen, man, if you knew what happened to my character leading up to all of this, you'd understand. The dude's just got some straight up PTSD.
Hopefully, I can convince you to stay and help us.
I mean, depends on what you're convincing me to help you with.
I'm thinking we're probably gonna be evacuating the town because we don't have forces to fight that.
I was gonna say he might be willing to like help evacuate because like kind of holds a special place in his heart. But like if you're like, oh, we can take them, we'll train the villagers, he's gonna be like, oh, you have fun with that. I'm out.
I mean, if it was a camp of like 100 or less, maybe I'd be like, we could probably fight them. But thousands? Nah, it ain't happening.
No.
I don't even know how many mercenaries were left, but I doubt it's enough.
I doubt there was enough even with all of them still alive.
Although I guess they were of some concern because they took the time to buy them off.
Yeah, I mean that's valid. Like there's, but like at the same time, I doubt it's enough to deal with 1,000 soldiers, especially 1,000 of that kind of soldier.
I doubt they're all Draconians. Not that we would know that in game, but out of game, I doubt they're all Draconians.
Yeah, out of game, it's probably a combination of goblins, orcs, draconians, and a couple other big baddies.
I'm sure there's probably like humans and stuff too, because they're everywhere.
I also wouldn't put it past Daniel to have a Drake in there or something like that, just to, you know, just cause.
2 Tarasques.
Oh, hello, sir. Don't do that. That moment when you tell the DM, the Trask isn't that hard, and then he spawns one with wings.
I got your name. I got your ass.
Oh, God.
Are you about to call me an asshole?
Just maybe. Well, okay, let's get back into the initiative here. Oh, wait, we're not in initiative. That's unusual. We're still in an RP sequence. So, did we split the party again? I caught part of it. It sounds like
Yeah.
we did a split.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So if I don't use animal handling for controlling a horse in rough terrain, like what is it? What's your ability posted up?
They don't have like an ability. I mean, they don't have a lot of horse rules in this game.
Well, that sounds like I can play it as I see it then.
I mean, my ability allows me to mount and dismount the horse with only 5 feet of movement, where normally it takes like half your movement to get on a horse.
Sure. But like you said, like you had looked up things and that you don't need to use animal handling. Like what is it that your character has? I'm assuming you had something that made it so that you wouldn't need to use it.
No, I mean, there's nothing in any of everything that I've looked up is like, what are the rules to handle a horse in difficult situations and stuff? And most of the time, it ends up being like a save.
The controlling a mount section from the player's handbook has no skill checks or anything. It's just like, yeah, you're riding a horse.
Yeah.
Well, then that begs the question, what does the skills section say about animal handling? Suppose it isn't terribly important, but I do have my standards ahead of time, in that animal handling is typically used to control an animal under difficult circumstances. Not necessarily to get it to do what you want to in a round of combat, but if it's going over uneven terrain that typically horses would not go over, kind of thing. See, that's it right there. To control your mount when you attempt a risky maneuver.
So theoretically, the path from town to the mercenary encampment, you did say it was a actual path.
That's not what we're talking about, though. We're talking about once we get back to the fork in the road, he's then going to go up into the woods, up the hills, to the mercenary encampment, right?
Valid. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, from the army side of it, you guys definitely followed something of a path, at least the first half of the way.
Oh, I thought there was a path to the camp as well.
There's not a path, but I mean, you can definitely kind of see up into the hills, like ways that would be easier to navigate than others.
The hills are alive with the sound of mercenaries.
Well, I mean, I guess it's up to.
See, yeah, I don't understand why it's not a paladin skill then that they can learn to handle, because they're mounted combat people.
Not necessarily every paladin is. Maybe you take paladin and then your background gives you animal handling. Like, there's always ways to get extra skills beyond just what your class gives you. Like, I'm sure your background gave you training and skills beyond what you had as a paladin. It just wasn't animals.
No, it just gives me the Knight of Slomnia feat.
Oh, you went with the specific one there. So yeah, you got a feat. Gotcha. Well, okie dokie. Yeah, it's tricky going getting this horse up the hill. And if the distance is the same up this hill as going east as the distance is going west for you to get to that initial wooded clearing site, it could easily be daybreak by the time you make it back to town. Despite supposedly having a quicker speed advantage, you're going through difficult terrain and uphill.
Uphill both ways.
Yes. 2 times.
In the snow?
Yes. So it's at this point, do we commit to going forward to the mercenary camp, or do we turn back and try and catch up with the party while they're still hiking back to town?
Yeah, we'll turn back towards the town. We'll let them know. We'll have them send out a runner or something, or maybe they have a messaging system that they use with the mercenaries.
Oh, we must like the beacons. Gondor has called for aid.
So I'm assuming he'll catch back up to us before we get into the town then?
Shortly before, yeah. You guys are definitely on the main path back, and maybe about 5 minutes before you get back to town, here he comes clopping up behind you.
Alton is just marching directly towards the mayor's house.
Yeah, this horse is not going to make it up those hills and everything in this rough terrain in this darkness.
All right, well, we'll get word to them somehow. Let me talk to the mayor before anybody else blurts anything out. We don't need to start a panic.
Alton's not 100% paying attention to the group. He's a man on a mission heading to the mayor's house to be like, you gotta go.
Well, as we make our way to the city center, we can see again that the mayor is inside the Brass Crab, even at this late hour, conversing with concerned citizens and other advisors in the town.
Is the knight with her or no?
Becklin is here in the common room as well.
Okay.
As I noticed that, I kind of like double back, turning towards the crab, bumping into Hawken, and I'm just like, we gotta go.
I just gotta put my hand on his chest. Calmness. I will talk to them. We don't need to start panic.
He grabs your shoulders and he looks at you dead in the eyes, and you can see tears welling. He just says, "We have to leave."
It's obvious I understand the gravity of how this is affecting you, and I just kind of nod. Put my hand on one of your hands that's holding me, and I say, if it's that important for us to leave, shouldn't we get them out too?
And you see him just kind of like nod slowly, and he just kind of like, his hands droop down from holding your sides, and he just kind of follows you quietly.
Right, and I hurry in to the crab.
Mayor and Becklin both look startled to not only see your group at this hour, but to see your group still in full arms and armor. Like, where have you been? Becklin calls out.
I kind of look around the room to see who all is actually here.
Yeah, there are a number of townsfolk who you recognize from your time here, in addition to, what's his name? Not the son, but rather the elder Lord Baccharis is also here at this late hour.
Ew.
Oh, I'm surprised he's not sleeping somewhere. He's like too important for this.
He does look half asleep here, as if he's bored by what he hears, but nonetheless, he is present.
I
He
will.
doesn't have a maid rubbing his feet or something.
Probably couldn't afford it anymore.
Probably not.
Oh,
So I'll just kind of, Mayor. No, you are in charge of the town, so I will speak with you for a moment, and you can decide what to do with the information we have.
She takes that with the air of seriousness presented, and well, yeah, it's a little too large in here, so she heads into the private room nearby and gestures for you to follow.
Will.
Becklin also enters.
I am closely behind Huakin, still with my head kind of down, but like at this point, I'm just like I'm following him because he seems to know what he's doing right now.
And I join him as well.
All right.
When everybody who's attending has attended, I will relay the information of what we found, the tracks, the clearing, all that stuff, following them to the overlook. And as I describe what we saw from the overlook, I will use minor illusion to show them what I saw from the overlook.
Oh, nice. Everyone is quite alarmed. Becklin definitely keeps herself composed, but you can tell passively that she is just as alarmed as the mayor.
Internal screaming.
This would appear to be whatever group paid the mercenaries, the ones who would take the payment, to attack our town and either take it over for them or soften us up for them. As you can see, this is quite a large force. I don't know who they are or where they came from. I think Alden has suspicions, but he hasn't really proven them.
Is it possible that this army is not present for Vogler? That seems like just overkill.
With the mention of Alden's name, he chimes in. He goes, "We have to go. You don't understand what they can. We," and he kind of trails off into almost like chaotic, almost crazy sounding gibberish.
As I said, we found the clearing where they paid the half-ogre. The tracks led from there straight to this camp. If the army might not be here for us, but they paid another army to destroy us.
So you believe the mercenaries having failed, this is what our next fate is?
It's possible when they learn of that failure, they may send someone else to finish the job. It might not be this entire force. They might hold it in reserve for something else. But even if they send 1/10 of this force,
she kind of looks over to Becklin and then to the rest of you, and seemingly this day extracts a heavy toll. Is there?
okay, Thanos.
Yes, indeed.
One thing the mayor would notice is that after the ale arrives, Alton doesn't touch it whatsoever, but instead just stares at her.
The mayor reaches out and takes a sip of the ale in response. Have we any further suggestions? Or
we flee?
Different suggestions.
To be honest, we don't know what their intentions are, or because they were camped down, we don't know which direction they're moving in. They could avoid the town completely. They could be heading right this way. We don't know what's going on with that group.
I would like to know more about the nature and disposition of this force. I mean, of course, Vogler wouldn't be able to defend itself against anything more than a few raiders, but outright evacuation, while not impossible, is a measure of last resort, of course.
I look to Becklin, and I motion to the illusion that's still there. In your years of service to the Knights, Have you seen anything resembling this? Do you recognize any of this encampment?
I have heard rumors of strange armies in the east, and now there is a strange army close to my doorstep. This cannot be mere coincidence.
At the mention of the strange armies to the east, Alton shudders, and you don't quite hear a whimper out of him, but there's some inaudible sound.
I can imagine that Ziliana might have a steely stare as well, because she's been through it too.
It has been some time, and never within my tenure here as mayor, but the rules of war dictate that. And she kind of looks around and grabs a piece of parchment nearby and a pen that she has. I shall draft a letter to the commander of this camp to first declare Vogler's neutrality in all conflicts. I will ascertain this army's intentions and welcome their commander for a private meeting before any other considerations can be taken into account. We must at least have more information simply than they exist and are present.
Alton starts laughing, and it's almost like a crazy person's laugh. Like it's almost maniacal, but just crazy. And he stops and he stares at her and goes, "Rules of war. Rules of war."
There are no rules in war.
And he just kind of like his eyes glaze over. He glances at Ziliana. He glances back at the mayor, and he just simply says, as she said, "There are no rules."
These are not Solamnic knights. He probably has a point.
The door opens to the common room, and through what little glimpse each of you have of that room from this private area, you can see this man enter in the company of the dwarf Cugel. And the two of them look around expectantly, and one of the commoners in the room just indicates you can kind of make out some muffled. They're inside the next room. They'll be out.
Sorry, to clarify, they came into the main area. We're in a separate room.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a like a porthole, small little window that you can kind of see from one room into the next. And Cugel is not waiting. She makes her way right to the door and opens it right up and steps in with this human at her side.
As she does so, Alton stands and like starts to pull his scimitar, and then recognizing her, he slowly puts it back. Clearly very on edge.
She is equally on edge and begins to draw for her weapon, and then she just gives you a smile and a wink, perhaps a bit too aggressively. This here's Jave, my lieutenant. He and the remaining troops, they're loyal. They could have overpowered me going there by myself if they weren't. They had their own little incident in camp, as did we over at the field of battle. A few of the mercenaries that had been part of the treacherous events attempted to turn those in my camp who were still loyal to me. But Jave and the other mercenaries that are still loyal to the Ironclad have restrained these disloyal. We have them restrained in such a manner as the captive here if we have any need for them. She looks over at the mayor. His scouts earlier came across a large military force to the northwest of the village. It's much too large, much too organized to be a mere mercenary band. And this is just like, yeah, this is exactly what you guys saw just a few short hours ago.
The illusion's still up, so she probably goes, oh.
Yeah, she didn't actually see it, but Jayev points at that and says, that rings true with what I was told.
As this is all happening, Alton is still standing, and he looks at the mayor, puts his hands on the table, and he says, "Now will you let me torture them? We need to get more information. We need to know what's happening. We can't stay here if they're coming this way."
Regardless of the situation, we will not meet their tactics with their tactics.
You are going to get yourself and your people killed.
I really don't think torturing underlings of a guy who made a deal with their army is going to give us any information. They weren't there to do that.
Alton sits down, clearly very frustrated, and he just kind of looks at Ziliana, trying to find some kind of a, like, well, what do we do then?
Mayor speaks. There is nothing I will not do to keep our people safe, but we need more information before acting.
And
Alton,
we just told you how to get it.
Sounding frustrated, he snaps at the same time as Ziliana. That's what I'm telling you.
And the mayor looks over at Hawakan. Did you not hear anything that your friend just said? What makes you think that a lowly mercenary, a hired hand, would know anything about the grand schemes of this army at our doorstep? How much do you know of the inner workings of the Knights of Solamnia? How much do you know of the inner workings of the High Council of Wizardry at Palanthus? Tell me, can you quote the 8th passage of the Book of Takesis? We each have our specialties. You are speaking merely out of panic.
Which Alton mutters something that's inaudible, and he kind of crosses his arms and just glares at the mayor.
Baccarus clears his throat. You know, we can all hear you.
No.
We can all hear you from out here. There's no sense to trying to keep a private conversation.
I almost audibly groan when he speaks up.
Of course,
Alton,
a village-wide evacuation is the only solution.
Alton goes to stand almost as if like he's about to do something to this guy, and he thinks better of it and sits down. Just kind of glares at Hawakan, kind of going, "I know what you were going to do to me if I stood."
I gotta get looks like, what are you staring at me for? I kind of wanted you to hit him.
Childish moment of, "Can I please?"
I'm just gonna like casually take out my dagger and just start twirling it while looking at this dude, and then just kind of like look at Alton and Hawakan and just be like, "Can I?"
Alton's clearly too caught up in trying to figure out what to do in this situation. Does he just abandon everyone and leave, or does he stay and help?
If it would make you feel better to draft some sort of, I don't know, letter, whatever you were talking about, then maybe do so. But also, start preparations for an evacuation.
One thing I am certain of, it has been a very long day for all of us. Let us reconvene at daybreak, at which time I shall have made my decision.
Alton lets out a audible, like, "Oh," kind of thing, and slams the table, stands up, and storms out.
And then Ziliana's gonna follow him after telling the mayor, like, "And by morning, half your town can be dead."
I just gotta, after they're leaving, just kind of nonchalantly say behind them, they weren't on the march yet.
Alton's making his way
Hey,
to
maybe
the
they
wharf.
just
He's
send one
just gonna
dragon.
go sit. He's just gonna go sit at the docks.
Sitting on the dock of the bay. Or is it when the lights go down in the city? Well, do what you will with your short rest. You do have the opportunity to grab one of those at least. Whatever you're able to restore in that respect.
Now I know how Don feels. Why can't we get a long rest?
Right.
Gotta get back all those spell slots, man. Short rest is 1 hit die, right?
You can spend as many hit dice as you like during a short rest. The only caveat is during your next long rest, you only get half of your maximum back. Big money, big money. Respectable.
Literally 1 HP shy of full. That's frustrating.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Never mind, I take my complaint back after that roll.
Well, let's hope that nothing really happens before we do get a long rest, because I do not have any spells.
Yikes!
Man, my anxiety leading up to this, I'm just like, this is not gonna be good. Like, we should have just left this town to die.
Well, I am not of the alignment or disposition to do that, so.
Unfortunately for you, I am.
Well, I know fully well that you and Ziliana might just book it out of here.
That's
See,
okay. You have faith that should they do so, you will find 2 other companions who are a bit more agreeable to assist you in your adventures ahead.
Well, luckily enough, I have influence with Ziliana,
Or you
and
think I'm replaceable?
hey, murder hobos are a
Well,
dime
she
a
would
dozen,
sound
let's
very
be
much like
honest.
Ziliana and would probably stab just as effectively, but might be more in a I'm not gonna ditch the party mentality.
Nah, luckily for you guys, Alton is under the disposition that he would never actually abandon his friends. The villagers, you guys, not so much.
I encourage you to possibly extend your character's love for Ispis to this town, as this may kind of contain like his spirit and his vibe, if you will.
Well,
That
I'm going
is
to be
what
sitting
drew
on the
us here.
dock, looking at the shield that was Ispis's shield, and feeling the twinge in my heart going, shit, I can't leave these people.
Oh, damn, especially if you're the one who ended up with the shield.
I'm the one with the shield. Like, I feel so guilty now, because I'm sitting here going, like, man, these were his people.
Right? These were his people, his friends. They shared the last few years of his life.
Yeah,
Damn,
so he's
damn
just kind of
ties.
like coming to terms with the fact that like he's gonna have to try and help this town, and he's just hoping they don't decide to fight.
Yeah, looking around at the people who are waking up early, and evacuation is not only on your character's mind. A lot of these villagers probably have no way of knowing that there's an army at their doorstep, but even still, the events of yesterday seem to have prompted a few of the prepper-minded villagers to at least begin loading up a backpack or a sack or something, just in case today proves even worse than the day before. And let's have each of you roll percentile here, please. Alrighty. So Esther is walking around this morning, shortly before daybreak, and you spot a panicked villager running from the river gate off to the northwest and making their way to the village circle.
Yet.
I'll stop them and then ask, "Hey, what's going on?"
The man responds, somewhat out of breath. "There's ominous villager. I'm sorry, visitor at the gate. Ominous."
Okay. What's he look like?
He's wearing red and black, and he's demanded to speak with the mayor.
He already told you what he looks like. He looks ominous.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell the villager to go grab the mayor, and I'm going to do a little like sneak to spy on this guy.
Alrighty. As we can see, the river gate up to the northwest of town. That is the way that we have come in and out of town on each of our visits so far this campaign. It is a sturdy enough structure here. We can go over the specific details of it here, I believe. Yep. It is a 15-foot tall wooden archway carved with the 2 leaping fish on its frame. Over the years, locals have etched the coin-sized scales of these fish with prayers for bountiful fishing. There are 2 large wooden doors standing within the arch. They have not been closed in years and are embedded in the surrounding dirt up until yesterday, and they have been closed for the first time since that event. Are you climbing to the gate to get a look at this individual, or what are you thinking?
Would the gate be looking over him?
It would, yes.
Then yeah, I'll do that.
Alrighty. It is somewhat difficult to remain unseen up here. Thankfully, your short stature does aid you a bit in that respect. If you're trying to remain stealthy, go ahead and roll as such. Pretty cool.
Nice.
And this guy's handout depicts him leaping 20 feet into the air and descending upon the hapless Kender's position here. It's just a happy accident that he happens to be in mid-pounce here. Just kidding. As you glance down at this individual seated upon their horse. Let's check here. Yep, a single messenger in black and red army on horseback. Esther is not the only one up here on the gate. There are 2 members of the militia who have been posted here and are not hiding whatsoever. So the what appears to be human in the black and red scale mail sits astride his armored warhorse and calls out, "Who among you speaks for this village? Bring him to me!" For those of you at the Brass Crab still, or otherwise, you can make out a commotion going on there as the mayor quickly throws on some clothes and is escorted by Becklin and other advisors towards the river gate.
I abruptly get up and follow. When we do get to the gate, I would move myself off to the side to kind of have a vantage point at seeing through the gate.
The gate itself is completely solid. What do you mean seen through? You can climb up over
Sorry,
if you want.
correction. More so position myself so that if they do open the gate, I'll have first view or
Gotcha.
first shot if necessary at the person.
Understood.
I will ask the mayor if they want me to approach with them.
The mayor looks up gratefully, and Becklin, without having spoken the offer, it is clear that the offer also stands. And Raven shakes her head. This I must do alone. And she looks over at the two ground-posted gate guards. Open the gate. And the gate slowly creaks open as the mayor steps through to approach the armored man on horseback.
I do have my crossbow at the ready just in case,
Sure.
but not like clearly aiming at the guy, but like ready to go so that at the moment's notice I can fire on him.
All right. As the mayor approaches, the soldier draws from within his cloak a scroll case and passes it forward. Raven reaches out and grabs it. There's a tense pause as she backs off, and everybody expects the worst. And then she cautiously takes a few steps back before then turning her back to this man and steps a little bit more quickly back through the gate as the gate closes behind her.
Alton breathes a small sigh of relief.
Mayor cracks open the scroll case. And, oh man, I hope this works here. Let's see. She just gives a sigh of defeat as she lets the message kind of hang in one hand. For those of you who are nearby, passive perceptions that are anywhere near average, you can make out. Oh, yep, damn it. It fucked up. So, posted there, but for some reason out of order. I can't explain that. The message reads, "People of Vogler, by the orders of Belafion, the voice of Takesis, you will quarter the soldiers of the invincible Red Dragon army this night. Refuse and die. This is the Dragon Queen's will." Any of you who are proficient in religion instantly recognize Takesis as one of the gods of Kryn, the most evil and vile and foul of the deities. Are any of you clerics of Takesis by chance?
Hold on, let me double check my character sheet.
It got me.
Oh no, we've been discovered, guys.
Because if you are, we may want to play a different side of this campaign.
That would be interesting.
I will say though that with the proclamation, Alton just kind of His crossbow hangs to the side of him, and he just has this sheer fear on his face. The realization of what he was afraid of is coming true.
So I'm going to take that as a no, that our cleric is not a cleric of Takesis, or I am waiting for a private message to the contrary in case they wish not to out themselves.
Yeah,
we
no,
have a
I'm
cleric?
all set. I'm not a paladin of Takesis.
I was gonna say I don't even think we have a cleric.
We do not.
We're doing good, guys.
Well, that puts us up one there. So the holy symbol, or rather unholy symbol, the spiral symbol on the messenger's armor would also identify them as a follower of Takesis, greatest of the evil gods, aka the Dragon Queen. This same symbol will appear on all Dragon Army armor going forward, and will likely be present on any heraldry and flags. Last night, however, as this army was not eager to identify itself to any random passerby, their flags were not flying. Furthermore, in the letter, it demands that the village prepare to be occupied by Dragon Army troops by that evening. In the meantime, nobody is permitted to leave the village. And meanwhile, the messenger sits outside on horseback, seemingly awaiting response.
Ziliana, are you nearby?
Somehow I'm never seem to be further than like 25 yards from you, so yes.
Wonderful, my good little shadow. I will say
Hold on.
this. You uh you see Alton just kind of like there's nothingness. He's just kind of this blank canvas standing there, and you can the little bit of emotion you do see is that he's torn between running and hiding at this point.
Okay. I'll sit here and think about what to do with that information.
Especially they're also the same people that took out your homeland.
Yeah. It's good times.
Yes, but I am infinitely more bloodthirsty than Alton seems to be.
There was bad things, man. Oh no.
The mayor
Oh, fuck.
looks around at those of you who are assembled nearby. Return to the brass crab. I will handle this. And her voice is free of fear or any sort of negativity or panic, and carries with it the authoritative nature of her office.
She-
I
she's,
shall
ste-
obey.
she's stepping up. I'm already at the crab.
Alton looks at Ziliana and he just kind of whispers, "We need to find a boat."
Probably, yeah. Otherwise, we're sitting ducks.
He for the first time in quite some time grabs Ziliana by the arm and like is like dragging her back towards the brass crab, constantly looking for the rest of the party as he's making his way to the brass crab and attempts to kind of grab all his friends and go, so to speak.
Roll perception checks as the lot of you begin to make your way from the river gate.
Oh, I'm gonna stay on top of the gate.
Okay.
assume that since I'm still back at the crab, I'm not rolling that.
If you're all the way back there already, that would be correct. If you're still leaving the gate area, there's a chance you will see this.
Yeah, I never came to the gate with them. I stayed at the crab.
Oh, gotcha. Well, for Ziliana, you definitely catch sight of this, whereas the other two leaving with you do not. Our Kender, who is still on the gate itself, absolutely catches this. Despite the mayor's proclamation, it is delivered a bit too quietly for those atop the gate to properly hear. That may be why the Kender is still here, or perhaps he's just like anti-authority, who knows. But one of our gate guards gets a little overzealous, and we're going to take an attack at this.
Oh no!
At this messenger here. We are going to throw one of our spears, and oh!
Helm's Deep, anyone?
Let's see.
Can I grab the spear before it's thrown?
Buddy,
if
with
you have a
natural 20?
reactionary ability that lends itself to that, you can certainly activate it. Otherwise, this guy has acted in a way nobody expected, and also got a damage result of the same.
No, I was gonna see if I could use a mage hand to catch it while it's in the air.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, not quite with that. If Mage Hand had a reaction casting, I would let you roll a d20. If you got a natural 20, then absolute. Otherwise, let's see.
Yeah, I can only make it a bonus action.
Oh, sure. Well, 7 points on a crit. This guy is almost down half of his total hit points, it would appear, as this thrown javelin attack here, or spear, if gets through his scale mail. He does not currently have his shield drawn, sitting on horseback, and not expecting anybody would have the audacity to do something like this, let alone get through his existing AC. So in response, there are 4 additional dragon army soldiers who reveal themselves from the trees on the opposite side of the cliff from Thornwall Keep.
This is gonna go good.
Each of them respond in kind with ranged javelin attacks. They are close enough to the river gate to be within short range. So one of these attacks will randomly be attacking our Kender friend. Otherwise, the other 3 are attacking the structure itself and this jerkwad who just made the attack.
I'm the only one between me, Alton, and Reginald who can see this, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna like pull Alton back and be like, I don't think we're going to have time to run. I think we're fucked.
Oh, God! Well, a couple of the javelins stick into the gate itself, almost as if just to kind of dare, like, try that again. We have infinite soldiers that we can throw at you. One of them is aimed at the Kender. This guy can just barely make you out there from his elevated position over your 15 feet. He's 30 feet high. However, at a disadvantage, his attack is a natural 1. So that javelin just goes sailing wide and sticks into the dirt on the wrong side of the gate. If it had been 10 more feet to the right, it might have had a chance of hitting the messenger on horseback. However, the guy that threw the spear and got a natural 20 on our messenger, instant karma, natural 20 right back on him for 7 9 piercing total, and these spears are on fire as they are thrown, dealing an additional 5 points of fire damage to our gate defender. He is instantly dead, 5 feet next to where Esther is still trying to hide.
Sorry, guys. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Sure. The other guard appears ready to respond, but the mayor, still taking advantage of her authoritative stance, demands that he stand down. He does. The 4 soldiers atop the cliffs have a second round of fiery javelins ready to respond. As the mayor just calls out, "We will consider your offer. Return at nightfall." And the messenger perhaps would not have accepted such an answer, but as he is bleeding profusely from the critical strike, he gives a grim nod, spurs his horse to about face, and he begins heading back up the trail. The 4 soldiers atop the cliff here fade back into the wood line. Perhaps they are still there, perhaps they're not.
We would have to assume that they're still there watching to make sure that nobody leaves the town.
I'm just bullets fleeing the crab, like, I don't even know what's going on.
Well, at this point, the field is yours to do as you will.
Okay, I'm back.
Well,
From
even
from
if you
my
were
vantage,
to,
can I see if those that were hiding are still there?
You cannot. They are 15 feet above you. All you see is the top of the cliff that they were standing at the precipice of, and now they've faded back over that top. Because, yeah, atop the gate, you're 15 feet high. Atop the cliffs, they're 30 feet high.
Cool.
yeah, I'm gonna head back to the crabs so that I can await and see what the mayor decides.
Cugel and Becklin are already there. Cugel is already saying, "We've got to get the mercenaries here in town. I know there's not many of them, but it's more than we have here. At last count, we had 52. That's significantly more than the militia of this town could put up." Becklin just kind of provides a counterpoint without necessarily arguing. If this dragon army is already so close to our gates, getting 52 bodies from the top of the hill through our gate is going to be difficult, especially if, and as more villagers make their way in, possibly Ziliana and our other party members reporting the details of what just happened at the gate. Beckling continues, especially if there are armed forces already atop the cliff.
Upon reaching the brass crab, Alton just kind of sits down, looks at everyone that's within the brass crab, and he just lets out a sigh and he says, "Well, there's no fighters here, so we don't have to worry about them killing us out of fear of retaliation. But people will die. It's just gonna happen. They don't care. They're gonna kill people for the fun of it." And he's just sitting there, like, at this point, he's just droning on about how awful these people are in this army, and that everyone's doomed, and he just kind of goes, I'm gonna find somewhere to hide.
Well,
They find me.
the good news is that his droning is quickly drowned out for those who don't want to hear it anymore. The bad news is it's an instant panic among those assembled in the common room in response to this news.
Has it been relayed to the people who that guard and those people serve? Because I know you said if you have religion, but
Yeah, most people don't know who the gods are, so the specifics of that are yet to reach the ears of the common folk. All they really know is that a god's name means less than actual soldiers, and apparently they're a dragon army. So now there's rumors of, oh god, they have dragons. There's going to be dragons on our doorstep any moment now.
and what about the mayor and the rest of the party?
The mayor is en route from the gate to the Brass Crab. This is while people are still in the Brass Crab, and she's having told the messenger to come back later.
Okay, so I guess I would still be on top of the gate. Can I hop down and go with the mayor then?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then I'll ask her if she knows about them.
Who's them specifically?
The army and their symbol and their god.
The god? No, I'm not familiar at all.
Me personally, I don't know, but you said with the religion, my character would. Can I relay that?
Oh yeah, in the most general terms, she's known as the Dragon Goddess, and she's the greatest of all the evil gods.
All right, so I'll relay that. And does she react any sort of way?
She's trying to maintain composure, does a reasonable job of it. Her response is tinged with some levels of confusion, as the ways of faith are just not anything that resonate with her whatsoever.
Okay, I'll just go silent and follow her then.
Yeah, likewise, she goes completely silent as well, upon making her way back to the Brass Crab, where I believe we are all gathered now. The mayor just kind of looks at everybody, has a air of defeat about her, and she steps back into the private, not so private room just off of the main hall.
Alton gets up and pushes his way past the average commoners to kind of force his way into said room.
The door is left open, and you get in without issue.
I sit down across from her and I say, so, how did you deal with it?
She looks
Oh, yeah.
over at Becklin, who also steps in. Get this man out of my face. And Becklin steps right in your grill.
I just stare down Becklin and I simply say, I tried to tell you, and you did not listen, and now you are being told to host an army of murderers or die. And you want to kick me out when I seem to be the only one with any form of intelligence here, and you told me it was fear that was pushing me.
It is only through intelligence that I do not respond emotionally and irrationally to you. as I propose a query, had I followed your advice some 2 hours ago, tell me what is different about our current predicament.
We might have had the mercenaries here. We might have had people packed up in some of the, sick, elderly, children, anyone who may not have been able to take a little bit of rough housing, we'll call it, from the army out of here. But instead now everyone's here at the whim of whatever those men, if you can call them, want to do.
And if you are leading this evacuation, which path do you take?
The boats, clearly.
The boats, yes. And you have no doubt assured that there are enough boats for everyone in the village to make their escape.
That's when he kind of just glares at her and goes, do I look like I'm supposed to be the mayor? You're the one that's supposed to know about your village, your people, and things like
so
that.
now you don't know everything. You're not the one that we should be turning to in our time of need. You're not the voice of reason and logic. As I have said from the beginning, we need more information. We have the information now from which to make our decision. The fact that this information has scored 1 point in the... I'm sorry, what is your name?
And he just glares at her for a moment and just...
Regardless,
you know what? You
in
can
the
just call
you
me
are
a sword.
Right category is irrelevant. Even a blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while.
He simply, Alton simply smacks his hands on the table, lets out a grunt of frustration. You can see like a crackle of like almost green fire come from his hands, and he just says, "Fine, do as you wish. Then you seem to think that you know what's going to happen, so I'll be
You're
making
the
my
one
way
making
somewhere else."
premonitions, my friend. It does not take much to witness a hosting army sitting on your doorstep and begin making proclamations of doom. That is not intelligence. That is panic.
As he gets to the doorway, he stops, turns to her, and just says, "I am of the Hachaki tribe. Do you know where we reside? Do you know where we live, or we've lived? Go ahead, ask your friends, the ones that have seen strange armies in the east. Tell me, who has a better idea of war than these peace-loving fishermen?" And he just slams the door behind himself as he leaves the room.
Hawken had been sitting at his book writing stuff down and kind of watches that whole display with confusion. And as Atlan walks out, he's like, "Did I miss something?"
Alden just looks at him and goes, "We're all gonna die. It's wonderful. Now someone get me an ale." And he goes and sits back with Ziliana.
Hugel heads into
Well, I
the
think that went well for you.
private room as well.
I look over at Reginald to be here, like, I must have missed something.
You quite did. An ultimatum was provided at the gate by a messenger that the Red Dragon army is to be housed here, and if anyone tries to leave, they will be killed. An overzealous soldier tried to assassinate the messenger, and it was met by several horsemen throwing javelins.
Yeah, I did quite miss something then.
Yes, you did.
I suppose we should probably involve ourselves in that conversation. So I'll move into the private room as well.
Yeah, I'll enter as well.
Hugel and Becklin are currently discussing ideas on how to get the 52 mercenaries into the city, into the village proper.
Since those two are talking, I'll kind of approach the mayor with the calculations I've been doing. I'll be like, from initial readings and countings, I don't know exact numbers, mind you, but I don't think we're going to have enough boats for everybody. It's going to be hard to figure this out.
We're going to have to figure some way, because hosting this army is not an option. Fighting them is at best a temporary stopgap in our attempt to get out of here. So we're going to have to figure something out with the lack of boats situation.
Esther wants to interject here and ask if we can. Where is it? Oh, send a. I don't know. I guess you could say a scouting party, but people to Calaman for help.
I don't know that we would have the time for somebody to get there and convince a response force to then arrive here before this army makes their way into our gates by nightfall. Calaman itself is a day's travel.
Yeah, they'd have to be already on the way here.
And even then, how many knights would they be able to send to go against an army that we saw that numbered in the thousands?
At least I'm assuming, Dan, that figuring that there's probably not enough boats was correct. There may be enough boats. I don't know.
The mayor seems to agree with it, and it's something that she used just as a general counterpoint in the earlier discussion.
Okay.
Well, we should start then getting old, infirm, children, and women on board the boats so that they could get to safety.
Well, we have a day, at least, a few hours, I would say, half a day,
Yes.
to gather as many boats as we can, I suppose. I know there are other fishermen out there. Maybe we can get them to bring whatever craft. Do we have the means to make simple boats?
Possibly. What I would like you to do is head to the docks and ascertain that as best you can. And if one of you would ring the bell in the village center, I wish to address the villagers collectively so as to avoid any further panic. We need to keep everyone calm as best as possible.
I am on my way.
And I will go speak to the docks.
Alrighty.
So I ring the bell.
Declan begins gathering people from their homes and helping them make their way to the village center as quickly as possible. And once all are gathered, it's a bit of a somber sight to behold the colorful Kingfisher Festival decorations that still cover the village circle and the festival stage. Unlike the day before, the people collected in the village center are somber, muttering in worried tones as Mayor Raven takes the stage. She does not miss words.
no shit.
She does not mince words. A dangerous army is headed for Vogler. The ironclad regiment will do what it can to defend us, but we must be ready to flee. Immediately following the mayor's report, there is a moment where the locals stand in stunned silence and then their questions come in a wave of shouting, anger, and fear.
What if we set up a toll booth at the pathway on the way in, and then they'd have to go back and get a whole bunch of coppers to be able to pass through the toll booth?
What is this, Blazing Saddles?
What if we
Dan-
sneak before they move and we set fire to their camp?
Yeah, the Red Dragon Army will care that their camp's on fire. Dan, there's no gather
If your
information
camp was on
skill
fire,
anymore.
would you stay in it?
We don't know what kind of magic they've got. Maybe they're immune to fire.
Well, they do seem to use it with their weapons. They just light everything on fire. Right
I
now,
can
it's
light
really
things on
hard.
fire, but that doesn't mean I'm immune to it.
Right now, it's really hard to try to concoct anything solid, as this panic just seems to be spreading like wildfire. And if something is not done about that, it could quickly take control of the entire village.
Well, since I'm down here at the docks already, I'm going to try and wrangle as much of this area as I can and focus them into what I need from them. Basically, getting a counting of the ships, if we can, maybe some half-done ships that we can quickly complete, that kind of stuff. I want to get them focused on how they can handle the situation.
Okay, you can try to get them focused with the proper intimidation or persuasion check. Meanwhile, it would appear that it is the young Master Darrett, our young friend who is squire to Becklin, who speaks up and helps the mayor regain control of the crowd by encouraging everyone to remember their bonds, remember their families, remember what's important, and put their priorities in order to go back to their homes, gather what is absolutely essential, and meet back here at the village circle by midday at the absolute latest.
Wait, I remember how it goes. We will not go quietly into the night.
Alrighty. So, with the panic having been quelled... passive perception checks from the group. You do notice that Kujul and her lieutenant Jaev are prepared at the river gate, and if you had to guess, it looks like they're going to try themselves to get out of here and rally their troops and get them back here to the village.
I'm going to take some guard duty over at the river gate.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near the gate. I'm over at the warp, so I wouldn't even see that.
Can I see if Ladora is here at the gathering?
She is nowhere to be seen. She has not been seen since the previous evening, if not the night before, I think it was.
Yeah, I know. Can I try and find her?
You can roll investigation. It will take some time as everybody's just kind of scattered to the four winds right now. Oof. Alright. Alright, so Esther heads off to do his thing. Reginald is taking up a post at the gate. Hawakan is at the docks, and looks like Alton and Ziliana are still at the Brass Crab, if I had to take a guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're just
Alright.
contemplating our existence at this point.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's take this in the following order. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. That's too far down. Alright, short ship supply. After spending about an hour of our early morning, Darrett also continues his food gathering services this day for pretty much the entire village. Most people are too distracted to find a moment to eat, so he takes it upon himself to make sure that everybody has a bite and some water, if not something even a little tastier. But you spend an hour inspecting the ships in the wharf. You estimate that the current vessels here could transport about 200 of the village's 400 residents.
Well, that's only half.
Yes.
What is this, the fucking Titanic?
Women and
No, I
children
think that
first.
ended a lot better than how this is about to end.
You know, there's room on that door for both of us. Yeah, but I really like to take a long rest here while I'm waiting for rescue.
And they did, but they talking to the ship guys about this. They didn't have any like quick boats they could put together, or anything like that to supplement that number, or is that part of that too?
Well, let's you rolled for yours. Yes, that's okay. Alright. So the local villagers and fishermen, some of them do kind of nod along in response to personal vessels. A few of them even respond in offer of your exemplary persuasion check there. Some of them are like, yeah, I got a boat. It's in need of repairs, though. Or some of them are like, yeah, there's some other boats that they know are collecting dust in villagers' sheds. Even boats that are serving as decorations in people's homes. It's going to take a couple hours, but early estimates are that if we can repair these boats and get them all repurposed and on the water, we could fit 100 more people.
Well, that's a good start. Any of you guys have any ideas on how to get the other 100 out of here? I'm not really a boat guy, so.
Well, it's, yeah! Alright, so,
Yeah, that guy gets a raise.
So, hear me out here. This is our gnome inventor responsible for the gnome flinger apparatus atop the
Here we go.
keep. So Than speaks up. Hear me out here, friends. So what if we did a boat made of boats? We use ropes and rings of small boats to corral floating masses of logs. We create several large rafts capable of holding 100, 200 more villagers, whatever it is that we need. I could draw up the specifications rather quick, and with the proper know-how and put togetherness, say 3 hours to complete.
I kind of nod as long as he's talking, and I kind of look at these ship guys who are knowledgeable about the water and see what they think.
Well, it ain't the craziest thing I ever heard, but oh man, it is gonna take a few hours, and everything's got to be put together just right. I mean, if any of those rings of boats comes apart, then the logs start spilling out, and we got survivors caught up in parts of the river that we probably don't want them in.
Indeed. All right. In the interest of hoping to get everybody out, I think we should do it. Get your best men, carpenters, knot tires, whoever's the best at keeping these things together to help him make his contraption, and send the rest of these guys to get the boats that are in the sheds and whatnot, who can quickly patch those things up.
All right, we're on it. There's the huddle with the go team, and fishermen begin spreading out to get to work.
I'll ask the gnome if he needs anything else from me.
What can you do, friend?
Currently, not a whole lot. I'm knowledgeable about a lot of things, but my magic is currently unavailable until I have a better rest.
Oh, well, I suppose we'll put you on standby then, huh?
Well, if you don't need me immediately for anything else, I'm gonna go see if I'm needed elsewhere.
Yeah, by all means. We'll try and take care of things here. We'll get this all put together, and come check back with us around midday, and I bet things look a lot different.
All right, good luck, and do good work.
Yeah,
And
we
I'll
got
leave-
this.
I'll leave him, and I'll go let the mayor know what's going on over there.
Oh, very well. It's inevitable at this point, but good work getting the dock workers rallied. That's going to be instrumental. Have you seen Hugel or her lieutenant by chance?
I have not, but I was down there the whole time.
And speaking of which, over at the gate where Reginald is posted, the gates open up to allow Hugel and Jaev an opportunity to get out of here, and no sooner do they do so before the Dragon Army soldiers posted up here make good on their nobody's allowed to leave promise and begin hailing the road with javelin attacks, one of which connects with Hugel. And that is that die 6 plus 2 plus die 4 that we see there for 10 points of damage on our friend. They do not stay to fight. They just continue to rush through. It would appear that the soldiers stationed atop the cliff, based on what Reggie can see, their goal is more to monitor the situation than to chase down each and every person who tries to run out of here.
Okay, so apparently if they make it through in that first volley, then they're hoping to get them when they come back, if they decide to come back.
Correct. Or they've also got thousands of troops further up the road, and these four right here will just continue to maintain their post, kind of thing. Is there
Okay.
anything particular you're trying to do here at the gate? You can see there's a lot of work going on in town on the evacuation front.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to get some knights to do some guard duty over here to make sure that none of them prematurely come into town.
Okay. You, Becklin, and the Squire are the only Solomonic Knights here. Everybody else is, at best, part of the militia. And a lot of them got killed yesterday during the reenactment.
Well, whatever militia we have available, we'll get them involved in this too.
Absolutely. For the most part, for the entire part, there's no militia men slacking off anywhere, not helping or cowering in fear. Everybody's either here at the river gate or they are elsewhere in the town helping the infirm or people who just have are incapable of helping themselves at this point.
Okay, we're gonna stay by our post.
Would
Alrighty.
the militia be up at the Thornwall Keep, or like where would their headquarters be, so to speak?
They don't. I mean, if there were a need for them to all rally at one place, Thornwall Keep would be the place. There's really never been precedent for that, so at the current time, most of them are just stationed up at the river gate. A few of them on the walls of Thornwall Keep, just kind of also positioned looking down at the road.
So I'm gonna make my way from the Brass Crab up to the Thornwall Keep. I'm gonna start looking for like weapons, armor, things like that. Any able-bodied young man or woman that looks like they can handle themselves, I'm gonna start trying to like collect them over at Thornwall Keep. And if I happen to see the mayor, I'm not looking for her, but if I happen to see her, I'm just gonna snidely say, well, time to make some fishermen into some warriors and just focus on trying to train as many people as I can on basic combat.
Okie doke.
And as usual, I'm there with them.
Well, I don't know that it comes as any surprise to anybody that a lot of people in this village are not looking too fondly at you right now after having stirred up a panic and argued with their beloved mayor in such fashion. So attempts to rally them are with persuasion or intimidation at disadvantage. Oh dear God.
That could have been so much better.
If anything, they're just like, oh yeah, it's the guy that yells at everybody. He came over here to yell at us for a few moments.
And then his scary shadow steps in.
Oh no, I'm just straight up threatening people with a dagger. I ain't fucking around with this anymore. Just straight up threatening these people.
Alrighty.
But like in a motivating way.
Let me motivatingly stab you a little.
I mean, it would work.
Alton's just gonna kind of like put his hand on her dagger and he's gonna be like, you've got two options. You can fight her, or you can come learn how to defend yourself.
I know which one I prefer.
So let me get this straight. You're telling me that instead of evacuating with my family, I'm now standing here to fight off this army.
Do you want your family to have the best chance of getting out alive? Or do you want to be selfish and try and cling to the boats and potentially sink them while being shot at from the army because they come through the village completely unhindered?
If I don't continue my work on putting all of these boats together, my family won't have a place to escape to.
Well, that's a valid point, actually. I'm going to look more specifically for young, able-bodied people that aren't building the boats.
That's, I guess I'm looking for more of a definition, because, at this point, there's 400 people total, and most of them are in the process of packing up their own stuff, or helping put together the boat project, or they're actual members of the militia already, and they're helping to that effect, or they're already at the gates and the keep itself.
Oh. Getting frustrated with the fact that people are just kind of all over the place. Alton's just going to continue to the Thornwall Keep just to get a better look at what's going on.
Alrighty. And last but not least here, to put a ribbon on tonight's session, no sign of Ladora anywhere.
No, like
She just
magical
up and
trace or
vanished.
anything.
What's that?
I said no, like magical trace or anything.
Correct. Yeah, there's just no trace of her whatsoever.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, she's
Yes, that
up and vanished.
that's pretty much been the sentiment for this whole scenario.
Pretty much this entire session has been, well, fuck.
Yeah, definitely some dark tidings here in the small village of Vogler, as the army of the Red Dragon Queen is now here at our doorstep, demanding that they be quartered. I mean, there's not even room for 1,000 people here, short of, like, every inch of park and other area just being repurposed for their use. Like, trying to imagine that many troops squeezed into this tiny location is a very disturbing sight, and you know it's going to get very dirty very quickly, because they will not treat this place with the respect and love that it deserves. Regardless of what happens to Vogler in the future, that is next session's problem. We do know that we're going to try to get our asses to Mars, otherwise known as Kalaman. That is here, focusing on our poster map. Let's zoom in nice and close, all the way over to here. Vogler and Kalaman. That is the closest civilization to our current position here, so we're going to try to get 400 people on a series of boats and make our way approximately a day east to Kalaman, while we have an army nipping at our heels. Again, we will cover that next session around the end of this month. That is a wrap for tonight, friends. Fantastic session. Great RP, especially you there, Logan. Not always an opportunity to get some terse back and forth there with somebody who is an ally. And usually it's just the good guys versus the bad guys, and that's where the trash talk and all of that kind of stuff.
I like causing problems.
Definitely a different take on things than we're used to here, but I had a lot of fun with that as well. And we will see just how that develops throughout the campaign, depending on how our decisions go and what events befall us. But up next, we have Sunday morning, back to Sunday G1, still continuing in the Red Hold, the keep of otherwise known as the Adamantine Forge. Once that thing gets operational, just think of all the cool equipment that all of our Coalescence crews may have access to. But more on that this Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, friends. We will catch you then. Thanks again for an amazing session here tonight, and we will catch you next time around. Are you with us?
Bye.
Have a good night.
Ciao.
I like causing problems.
So I
Same though.
have a kind of a question. My character's intelligence is a 14. Am I the smartest character in this group?
Mine's a 10.
Mine's
also a 10.
Mine's a
13.
14. Mine's 14.
Okay, so there's a couple that are right around the same level. I was just wondering, like, am I the fucking brains of this outfit?
I mean, with my anger, I think my intelligence is like realistically more like a 10.
Oh yeah, no. Between the two of us and the amount of anger that like is going on, there's no big smarts here.
Yeah, so I'm the planner of this group, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
No, but if
Pretty
you need
much.
something like stolen, I got you.
Or like if you need to plan out how to like ambush somebody, I got you.
Or to like sneak up on them and slit their throat from behind, I got you.
But if you want me to
throw somebody
actually,
at something, I got you.
But if you want me to think something through, absolutely not. Miss me with
yeah,
that.
if you want me to be like conservative and have a proper intelligent conversation, no.
Well, I already got that part.
Yeah,
You've
no.
demonstrated that.
Yeah, I do good. I did really good fighting with the mayor, telling her that she's an idiot.
Which is why I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I figured it was gonna be a good little fun tidbit there between me and Dano, because like, my character with his background, he definitely would not want to be hanging around, and so then now it's kind of like he's pissed off because he's like, well, yeah, force my hand. We're here. We're gonna deal with this. So you know what? You're an idiot.
But I love how she pointed out, like, how would anything be any different?
I know.
And
When he said that, I just kind of sat there. I'm like, shit, he's right.
exactly.
Yeah, if we had like 2 days instead of 2 hours head start, it would be a whole different story, but we didn't have that much.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I will say, I've already started like planning out, like, oh, if we do need a holdout against these guys, what would be our best option? Obviously, the keep, and it's also a bottleneck leading up to it.
Well, yeah, we got to think defensively because we got to get possibly have to buy time for people to get out and all that stuff.
Well, and like Shaggy said, the two of us kind of got into the conversation in the Twitch chat there. I'm very much so leaning towards hay bales with tar or oil doused on them and rolling them down the hill where that choke point is, because war cramps. Do kind of like what was it, the Trojans, I think it was, did, where they had massive balls of like hay and old twine or old brush, and they lit it on fire and rolled it down hills at the invading Greeks.
I mean, that's been a tactic that's been used by armies throughout history.
I know. You can never complain about napalm, no matter what form it is in.
I'm sure
I mean, I
some
feel like you
people-
can complain about it, you just can't negate its usefulness.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the one getting hit by it, I'm complaining.
exactly.
Well, I mean, if me and the mayor keep butting heads,
Yeah, I was like, I'd like to lodge a formal complaint.
I love how, like, at the beginning, like, we immediately, like, demonstrate both sides. Like, one side is, well, according to the Articles of War, and the other one is, like, war crimes!
straight up. My guy's just like, Articles of War? The rules of war? This
Like,
person's
what
never been in
rules?
war.
Show me where rules have been followed in war.
Well,
Like,
clearly
let
one of
me-
us is lawful neutral and one of us is not.
let me tell you about the time where I had to use my opponent's helmet to kill him, because that's definitely not in the rules of law.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the army of Takesis doesn't care about the rules of war.
Well, and I literally am from the Kerr Empire, so like our methods of war and fighting was very much so different.
Yeah, I know. And Islamic Knights are like, there should be honor. Takesis is like,
And I'm just trying to like save my own ass because I escaped from their prison and stuff back in Sylvan SD. So like I'm still trying to not be caught and or killed by them just for that. And then add on to this, I'm trying to help you fuckers.
Oh yeah, and look at the part of the world that we're in here on the map. Like, this is Solamnia. We're in the kingdom of Solamnia, so of course her manner is befitting as in her response as well.
Good times. Good times. I really enjoyed the back and forth banter.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I like
Guys,
how we
have a
were
good
just
night.
like sitting in the pub, just like
Good
doing
night,
our
brother.
own thing for half of that.
Yeah, it was really entertaining how I come out and Hawkins just like, what the fuck just happened?
well, because I
And you're
didn't.
like, yo, you want me to stab that bitch for you? Like,
I didn't have the context because I didn't see that initial thing. So I'm like, what the hell?
Just your average human just going to town on the mayor threatening, and yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I didn't even go down the path of, I forget what tangent we got off on, but I remember her next point was going to be, this is just what they want. We're fighting with ourselves.
Yeah. I was contemplating utilizing that statement of like we need to have synergy, like you guys need to all work together when you were talking about all the villagers going a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and I was gonna be like, my people turned on each other, that's how I got sold into servitude with the army, and but then I think it was Hawking ended up managing to pull it together, so I was just like, okay, yeah, we're gonna continue drinking, going down the dark path of my fear and anger, and me and Ziliana are gonna figure out some shit.
It's definitely going to be interesting heading further down this campaign. How we got the couple of dark characters that are liable to do some extreme stuff, and then the rest of us aren't really prepared to do that. But it might get the job done anyway.
Well, and I find it very funny because like the way that Alton is he very much so is like he's trying to be a good person. Like I don't know if you were watching a little bit of our RP in the chat there, but like he at this point Ziliana convinced him to just go back to the way he was before, and the way he was before was literally just like, I will do anything to survive, I will kill and plunder, I don't care.
Yeah, like Alton like Liana's like switch because like before the whole prison thing, I was like Alton was trying to be now. Before I was like, we got to be murder hobos, and now I'm just like murder hobo all day, every day, just survival, nothing else.
I'm both waiting for and hoping it doesn't happen, but I'm kind of expecting Dan to be like, oh, by the way, someone from the Green Dragon Army recognizes you, or the Red Dragon Army recognizes you. I'm just, it's not going to be a good day.
Ah!
Yep.
Yeah, the night he decides that I get captured by them again, I'm done.
If you get captured
If you don't
by
come to
them,
save my ass, I swear to God.
oh, he will wholeheartedly give over to the darkness within. It'll be a messy, nasty, like there will be no prisoners, no mercy, nothing.
I admire your honesty.
Thank you.
Good night, friends. We will catch you next time.
Good night, buddy.
Night, Joe.
Leather jacket, boot shades, and an automobile. Like I saw you in a picture in a magazine. Sun and sup blazing out down on the boulevard. Look like a movie star, but you're not even trying hard. On the road, going nowhere with the top down. While the rest of us are stuck here in our small towns. I wanna know who you are. I wanna know who you are. Still raining now. The drops keep coming. Lay it down. I can't stop falling now. Strolling down, see my reflection in the mirror. On top like you